So, the famous Tom Lee, who's the head of research at Fundstrat Global Advisors, said that Bitcoin could easily hit $200,000 by year end. Can Bitcoin really hit $200,000? You know me, as always, I will tell you the reality and I will tell you what the media isn't telling you. Because before I show you the clip and tell you the truth, please hit the like button if you think you learned something new from this video. You don't know how much your like will help the channel more than what you think. So let's take a listen to the original clip of Tom Lee saying that Bitcoin will hit $200,000, and then I will give you my analysis and where it's going, and I will tell you the reality. Let's start.
Hey Tom, Bitcoin, before we let you go, tell us what you think. We're at about $111,000. The upside, the downside from here?
Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies like Ethereum are super sensitive to monetary policy. So I think that September 17th is an important catalyst. Crypto typically does really well in the fourth quarter. So I think Bitcoin can easily get to 200,000 before year end. I know it's a big move. It's almost a double, but that's also going to be a
double from here. Let's just hold on. Let's just take a quick pause. A double from here. So everybody's listening to this. We're at $111,000, and you think by Christmas time, effectively, we could be at 200,000?
That's right. One of the reasons Bitcoin stalled this year is the Fed's been on pause for 9 months. That pause all year, if you look at an easing cycle, that's only happened 2 other times, in 1998 and 2024, where the Fed began to resume cuts in the fourth quarter in September. Equities do really well. As you know, crypto is beta to equity. So I think it's going to be a very strong fourth quarter. Small caps should also rally, like IWM, but that also is really bullish for Ethereum, which is highly linked to small caps.
So as you heard Tom Lee, he thinks that Bitcoin could double from today's price and hit 200K. Tom based his analysis mainly on monetary policy easing because he thinks that Bitcoin and small caps are very sensitive to monetary policy, meaning if Fed cuts rates as promised, Bitcoin and Ethereum and many small caps can skyrocket. Well, I see his point and it is true, and we have seen this in previous occasions. When Fed cut rates and print more money, that's when people tend to put their money more into Bitcoin and gold and small caps, as they think printing more dollars will decrease the value of the dollar. So Tom is right about this part, but what he is missing, he missed one important thing, which is Federal Reserve said that they will not cut rates as promised. In the last Fed meeting, Jerome Powell said, who's the chair of Federal Reserve, said that he thinks he cannot cut rates as promised, which is about 2 quarter point cuts in 2025. Some officials expected 3 cuts or more. He only made 1 rate cut, then backed off, saying cutting too much too early can reignite inflation. And if you follow my videos, I told you that on the beginning. In one of the videos, I said that Fed will not cut rates as much because of inflation and tariff. Unless the market drops by 20+%, then he will start to consider cutting more rates. But with strong market and somehow weak labor market, he will cut, but not as promised, which is 3 rate cuts. So if you follow my videos, you will know that I expected that Federal Reserve will not cut as much because of the current situation, and I spoke about that. Tom Lee said that he expects Bitcoin to hit 200K because crypto tends to perform well in quarter 4. Well, I don't agree with Tom on this one because history never repeats itself. It can have similarities, but it will not be the same. Also, you cannot base assumptions on historic data. Always base assumptions on valuations and do the scenarios, bear case, base case, and bull case scenarios, like the ones I do in the channel. You must do your math. Also, Tom Lee said something very important, which he said, I know it is a big move. Well, this statement, he deep down, he kind of knows this is hard to achieve. Tom also based his assumption on current market sentiment and valuations. He said that despite recent gains and Bitcoin hitting all-time high, investors remain cautious and bearish. That's what he said, meaning if sentiments change and become bullish, Bitcoin can surge and hit the target that he claimed for, which is 200K. Now to the most important, now to the moment of truth. I will tell you my honest opinion and what I think. First of all, I'm very bullish on crypto and Bitcoin long term, and I believe that Bitcoin will hit 200K eventually. But my analysis is only on hitting 200K this year or like by December. Not about crypto and Bitcoin long term. Reaching 200K will happen only if Federal Reserve cuts rates aggressively, just like what Tom Lee said, because crypto is highly speculative and it could benefit from this a lot. Especially that people are aggressively dumping the US dollar right now and buying gold and Bitcoin. Also, crypto showed a large percentage of moves in short time frame. Another reason that could happen, but is still not guaranteed, if many investors are still cautious, a surprise positive catalyst could trigger a wave of buying, or in other words, what we call it in the crypto industry, FOMO, fear of missing out. FOMO is very common in crypto industry to the point that we have coins named FOMO. But again, all this depends on central bank policy, meaning if Fed does not cut rates or signal cautious instead of easing, then the tailwind could disappear completely. So Tom Lee himself pointed this out and said that it all depends on Federal Reserve or monetary easing. Let's also not forget that if many analysts anticipate the move, which is in this case Tom Lee expecting Bitcoin hitting 200K by year end, it may already be priced in to some extent, or if it fails, then it could be a sharp correction. But my honest opinion, the time frame is very short. So yes, Bitcoin will hit 200K, but I don't think this year, by 2025. Tom Lee's call put extra pressure on a short time frame, meaning less margin of error. This is my opinion, but let's see what other analysts say. A publication from CoinDCX suggests that Bitcoin will hit only 130K by year end, and which I think is reasonable price range considering Fed is not cutting rates as promised. They view the short term as somewhat constrained but bullish. Let's see what other crypto analysts think. So we have CoinGecko. CoinGecko analysts see that Bitcoin will hit 180 to 250K with a conservative forecast of 145K. This is a very bullish case, which makes Tom Lee's forecast moderate. Well, I don't agree with that. So let's see CoinDesk. They said their analyst forecast Bitcoin to hit 160K to 200K by year end only if Bitcoin move above 116K, which will transition Bitcoin into a bull market phase. This aligns more with Tom Lee's forecast. Analysts from Coin Central said that Bitcoin must close the year above 125K to confirm a bullish breakout by next year, and Bitcoin will hit 200K by 2026. However, if Bitcoin closes the year below 111K, this could trigger a deeper correction towards 104K. Okay, enough with the analysts and forecast. I think we had enough forecasts. So most analysts base their assumption on rate cuts and monetary policy easing. Also, they based it off crypto adoption and regulation easing and ETF approvals. Also, many of them based it on market sentiment. I agree with all these points. All these things, we have seen how Bitcoin reacts when Fed cut rates or when Fed ease monetary policy. My assumption that Bitcoin will hit 200K by 2026 and not 2025. This is because the Fed is not cutting rates as promised. This year. This is everything for Bitcoin and crypto. If you want to know what top Wall Street analysts and billion-dollar hedge fund manager are predicting for the stock market in the upcoming months and in the next year, watch this video.